Hey friends, Peggy Hall here from thehealthyamerican.org. I am back with Peggy to the Rescue. This is a series where I answer your questions, and the question that came in today was, can I seek a religious exemption at work from the needle, even if I don't live in your area, Peggy, where your pastor husband is writing the religious exemptions, or if I am not a member of the Christian faith, or if I am not a member of any organized religion or religion in general? I want to answer that question because that is a very common one that I have. So stay tuned for the answer. First, I want to bring a brief message from the sponsor of Peggy to the Rescue. And these are my friends over at noblegoldinvestments.com. Now, inflation is a thing of the past, right? But last month's inflation in the US had the highest rise in 29 years. So with rising food and gas costs, it's an urgent problem if you are thinking about retiring soon. You need an inflation dam to stop your savings and assets from eroding in value. So Noble Gold's expertise in retirement planning and IRAs mean that their team of specialists is your first stop. So you can find out about this month's offer of a 1-ounce American Eagle pure silver proof coin with an IRA. And I want to show you what I have here because it is very cool. And here you have it. I actually have one and I love it. And you can get one too. You can call here 877-646-5347 or go to noblegoldinvestments.com. Let's talk about religious exemptions and if you can get a religious exemption. If you're not a member of my husband's church, if you're not a member of any church, if you're not even a member of the Christian faith, and if you have no religious background whatsoever. So I want to tell you that there's good news. The religious exemption is also based on your sincerely held belief. So you don't have to go to any place of worship. You do not need to be a member of any organized faith. You do not need to be Christian. You do not need to be Muslim. You do not need to be of the Sikh faith, the Jewish faith. But if you are a member of these religious groups, you still can get a religious exemption. Now, for many months, I have been teaching people about the law and about the law that states you have a right to have your employer or your school, and in some cases, your employer is your school if you're a teacher or you work at a school, your religious liberty may not be violated. Your religious rights, try to say that, religious rights may not be violated. And I want to explain exactly how this works. So even if you are not a member of an organized religion, you still have the right to state to your employer that certain requirements or actions or obligations that they are trying to impose upon you are against your sincerely held belief. So what I would like to do is actually bring you to the EEOC, and we will take a look at this in writing. I am going to show you now exactly where it is in the law that it states that you do not have to belong to any organized religion, but it can be your own sincerely held moral or ethical belief. So if you believe that you need to keep your body pure and that having any type of needle or any other medical intervention is against your own morally or ethically sincerely held beliefs, the law states that your employer must accommodate this. And it's the same for a school setting. And I know they're going to try to delay, and we will be talking about ways to overcome this. But I want to start here with just the basic foundation that you have the right to seek this accommodation, even if you're not a member of any particular organized religion. So let me share my screen, and we are going directly to, this is EEOC.gov, and the EEOC, it does not make law. All right. I did another video, a series of videos all about this. The EEOC stands for the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And this is the agency that enforces or upholds the non-discrimination laws of the United States, in particular, the civil rights laws that apply to you in the workplace. So you may not be harassed, you may not be intimidated, you may not be discriminated against. Imagine if you had, you were in a wheelchair. They cannot discriminate against you because you're in a wheelchair. And if they would make some snide remarks or not let you have, a certain desk or whatever, this would all be something that these are disputes that you could seek to have rectified. And so here's what I want to explain to you right here. Religious discrimination, well, okay. This is it, the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and EEOC.gov, you can read all about that and the authority that it has. Here's the important thing I want to share with you right here. Let's make this a little smaller so you can see this. And I will make this a little bigger because I know you're looking at it on a screen. All right. Religious discrimination involves treating a person, either an applicant or an employee, so if you already are working there, unfavorably because of his or her religious beliefs. Now, just to let you know, my religious belief is that I keep my body pure. I keep my body pure. I do not mess with any pharmakia. That is part of my Christian belief, but it could be part of just and it's also part of my ethical belief. So I do not participate in that. Making me have a needle as an employment to work, as a requirement to work as an employee would be like saying that a Muslim has to eat a ham sandwich. They're not going to do it. It is not something that they are going to do. They cannot do it. So treating someone unfavorably because of his or her religious belief. Now, here's what the important point is. The law protects people the law protects not only people who belong to traditional organized religions such as Buddhism, which is interesting because I don't think Buddhists think that that is a religion. I think Buddhists believe that it is a philosophy. So I think it's interesting that they put it under the category of religion. And the reason why I say this is because I did a video a couple of days ago about Buddhists and about one of the challenges that a healthy American Buddhist was following. And many of you gave me comments about Buddhism. I am not an expert by any means, but I have studied some of the different religions and religious beliefs. And it's very interesting to me to see the similarities in some of the teachings, but nonetheless, they're calling Buddhism a religion. Christianity, Hinduism, the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's interesting that it's under a religion, Islam and Judaism, but also others who have sincerely held religious, ethical, or moral beliefs. All right, it's right there in black and white. This is the law. Now, religious discrimination can also involve treating someone differently because that person is married to an individual of our particular religion. So religious discrimination is against the law. The law forbids discrimination when it comes to any aspect of employment, including hiring, firing, pay, job assignments, promotions, layoff, training, fringe benefits, and any other term of condition of employment. It is illegal to harass a person because of his or her religion or sincerely held moral or ethical belief. So they cannot harass you to do this if it is against your belief. They cannot harass a Muslim to remove her veil. They cannot harass a Sikh to remove the turban, or a Jewish person to remove the yarmulke. That would be, and it is, illegal and unlawful. Now, they cannot do teasing. Well, the law does not prohibit simple teasing, but harassment is illegal when it is so frequent or severe that it creates a hostile or offensive work environment, or when it results in an adverse employment decision, such as being fired or demoted. Now, listen. Boy, oh boy, this is where I wish that I was a licensed attorney, because I would take every single one of these cases that you guys write to me about at the Healthy American. Somebody sent me an email about American Airlines. I'll cover that in another video, and how they are laying off their pilots, or they're giving them leave without pay. Oh, we're not laying you off. You just can't come to work and you can't get paid. Well, how is that not being harassed? So you have the right to seek an exemption. In another video, I'm going to explain exactly how and why your employer is required to accommodate this exemption. And I will also let you know about the little tricks up their sleeve on how they try to delay. And the reason I know this is because I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of healthy Americans personally, and I've helped thousands and thousands of people through the website. So let me share that with you now, where you can get more information at the website. I am going to keep talking about this as frequently and as vehemently as I can, because this might be the last hurrah. All right. They are, it's really trying to push this agenda here. And here's where you can go. So I don't even know how long these videos can stay up. You go under religious exemptions, and you're going to find the religious, it will be the religious exemption letter. And here you can read about a couple of the testimonials. I have many, many. I encourage you to watch the video. Here's where I talk about what you get in the religious exemption packet and how you can apply for that. The other thing that's really important to do is to go to this page with the word that cannot be spoken. It starts with the letter V. And I would like you to watch the video about the EEOC. I would like you to read this, watch this one, Can My Boss Fire Me? All about the EEOC. Your medical status. There's one for universities, and a couple more about can your job require you to do this, and what talk about OSHA, so that I've got all of the bases covered. And then I've got information for you here about getting a religious exemption. So I can help you. You don't need my help if you want to do it on your own. Here's what you do. Number one, you go to your HR, you go to the highest authority. And if you're in a small company, you go to the company owner, and you let them know that you are seeking a religious exemption. Now, I'm going to do a separate video about why I recommend a religious exemption compared to a medical exemption. But let's just assume you're going for your sincerely held religious belief. And maybe you're not of the Christian faith or the Jewish faith or Buddhist or Hindu, but you just in your own heart, mind, soul, you just know that this is something that you're not going to do. You ask them, do they have the paperwork? Do they have a form to fill out? You can get information that I have at thehealthyamerican.org. I give you a list of all this information from the EEOC. I've compiled it for you. I give you that information that you can attach with your request. I also give you a letter as though it is written from you, from your perspective, and it states all of this information about your constitutional rights, and even the fact that the needle is not, there's words that I can't even say, but you guys know what I'm talking about here, that they cannot require this because of its status. I'll just use it that way. But even if it did have a status of, the stamp of approval, they still cannot require it because it violates your own sincerely held religious belief. Now, we have helped people of the Jewish faith. We have helped people of the Buddhist faith. I helped a member of the Sikh faith, and I actually did research. And in the Sikh faith, it clearly states that this was interesting because I helped the woman about the veiling the face. It clearly states in the Sikh sacred text that a woman is forbidden from veiling her face. Forbidden. So imagine if you had a job and they were telling you that you had to put on the scam. It is against the person's religious practice. They may not be forced to do it. They may not be laid off. They may not have a reduction in pay. They may not get a worse job, and they may not be told that they can't come to work anymore. And I will help you with this. Now, you don't need an attorney at this stage. At this stage, you need to have them provide the authority that they have the right to violate your beliefs, and they don't. So if you would like our help, we can give you a letter, and we can also give you the attestation of faith from Pastor David. Even though it's written from a Christian perspective, you can use this and bring it to your religious leader and ask them if they would like to model it for their own needs. So we've had that done with the Jewish faith, and we've had that done, basically the Jewish faith. And then you could use that for your own sincerely held religious belief. So these are Word documents that can be modified, and you can have an individual personalized packet made for you that contains your idea that you want to have the exemption against the needle. You can have an exemption against this, the TEST, and you can have an exemption for the scam. All three of those things are not approved. They don't have the stamp of approval from the body that gives the stamp of approval. All of those are medical interventions that are experiments. You have the right to refuse. I have all of this at the website under employee rights. I have all of this at the website under medical rights. I highly recommend that you study the information there. You need to roll up your sleeves, spend a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days, a couple of weeks, educating yourself on all of these laws, all of the information that I've compiled for you. You can do your self-study. If you need our help, that is available under the religious exemptions. So the answer to the question at Peggy to the Rescue is yes, we can help you even if you do not live in Orange County, because if you are a member of the Christian faith, you are a member of the body of Christ. And my husband, Pastor David, would be happy to talk on the phone to your employer, to these schools. He has made that offer many times. Nobody has called him yet, but he said he would be happy to discuss this spiritually, ethically, morally, and constitutionally, because that is how strong his stance is. And he gives a very powerful letter, a 2-page letter of attestation as to why this is against a Christian's belief. And later I'm going to do a video where a wrong-minded pastor is saying that he's mocking people that are standing up for their rights. It's very troubling to me. And I'm going to call him out publicly because he made these comments publicly. And I'm going, well, call him out, maybe it's a little strong word, but I'm going to give a commentary on his comments because they are very egregious and offensive to me and many others who actually are following Christ and are following Christ's teachings. And we actually are standing for our God-given rights because they are given to us by God, not by government. And the Bible clearly states that we are not to abide by any authority that is a sin against God. I don't know how much clearer to make it. So I'm very passionate about this. I can help you regardless of your religious stance and whether you do not belong to an organized religion. And if it's even your own sincerely held ethical and moral belief, I can help you with that. I want to help you with that. I've got to help you with that. I do not want people complying out of ignorance because they don't know what to do. And they will buck you. Oh, that sounds kind of funny, doesn't it? They will try to stop you and they want to buck the trend. They want to push back and they want to delay. And I'm going to help you with that, so that you don't have to fall prey to their evil deeds. Thank you, everybody. TheHealthyAmerican.org. Please share this video. We have got to get this information out really, really at an urgent pace because I don't know how much longer I will be here on the public platforms. You can always find me at peggyhall.tv. See you there, everybody, and TheHealthyAmerican.org.